now learned the man who police say shot and killed 3 people in Mount Washington this past weekend has also now died. So 2 of the victims were sisters. WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with the update. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. So that suspected gunman was identified by police as 26-year-old Samuel Ericson. They say he killed himself after he shot 3 others. Ericson was initially hospitalized in critical condition. Now, we're also learning from police that Ericson knew at least one of the victims and had a romantic interest in one of them. Police say they're not investigating this as a hate crime. So this happened on Sunday afternoon on Beacon Street in Mount Washington. CPD says Ericson shot and killed Bimnet Doris Eden Adugna and Fiven Adugna. When police got there, Bimnet and one of the women were already dead. The other woman, along with Ericson, were taken to the hospital where they both later died. We're told Fiven and Eden were sisters who both worked as pharmacy technicians for Good Sam Hospital. TriHealth telling WLWT they were cherished members of the hospital team, and posts on social media say Bimnet worked at a store on Montana Avenue. So what led up to this shooting is still unclear. We will keep you updated as we learn more information. Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
All right. Peace and blessings, all praises due to the Most High. And this shooting, which happened last week and again has gotten a little national attention, more is coming out about it right now, as you see that they did identify that shooter, Samuel Ericson, who took the coward way out after shooting and killing 2 sisters and 1 other black man. So these were college students in the medical program. The other young man, he had graduated, I think, from the University of Cincinnati. And as you hear them say that this guy had a romantic interest in her, not a romantic relationship, but a romantic interest. And they are not calling it a hate crime. I don't know how else could this not exhibit hate? And the reason why is, you kill 3 people, 2 of which had nothing to do at all with the situation. Now, there's a 911 call I'm about to play for you that gives some detail on this man and his craziness, which one of the girls had reported to police beforehand. It looks like from this call that he may have been trying to get with her. She's telling him, look, I'm not with you. And now he's threatening to off everybody, including himself. Just take a listen to this 911 call, and I'll be back with a little more commentary. This is fair use for literary and commentary purposes only. Check it out.
So learning new details tonight in the murder of 3 young college students in Mount Washington. Warning signs in the form of 911 calls were made about a month before the tragedy.
Now, police are saying the shooter had a romantic interest in one of the girls that he killed. News 5's Daisy Kershaw now. She's been following the investigation. She's live for us with the calls made by one of the victims. Daisy.
Mike, on August 31st, Cincinnati police say Samuel Ericson shot and killed sisters Faven and Aiden Adunya and their friend Bimnet Doris. On August 8th, 23 days before the shooting, new 911 calls reveal that Aiden called police to report concerns that Ericson took his own life.
Cincinnati 911, what is the address for your emergency?
I'm not sure about the address, but I have there's this guy I'm talking to, and he just sent me a message saying he's gonna solve.
Aiden Adunya telling Cincinnati police she was concerned, describing a chilling message she received from Samuel Ericson.
What did he text you? Like, what was the wording?
Okay, it says, I have scheduled this message to send for after I'm dead, so you don't have to worry about me anymore. He has been saying this kind of stuff to me in the past.
Yeah.
But I was able to get to him. Like, he responded. Like, on Sunday, he sent me a picture. He bought a gun, and he sent me a picture of it, and I called him. I was able to call him Sunday night, and he was able to calm down, and we had kind of like talked about getting rid of the gun and getting like a professional help.
Did he end up getting rid of that, or you don't know for sure?
I don't know. I don't think so, because we talked about it yesterday, and we kind of had a disagreement.
Yeah.
So I don't think he got rid of it.
After the initial 911, records show Aiden called back multiple times to check in to see if they were able to help Ericson. In one of those last calls, sharing this.
I forgot to mention this the first time I called. If he saw a siren, a police siren, that he's gonna actually go ahead.
Now, Cincinnati police confirmed with me tonight that while they did handle those calls, after determining that Ericson lived in Anderson Township, the situation was handed over to Hamilton County. The sheriff's office saying that their deputies did respond to Ericson's home and that they called for a mental health crisis response team to come assist with the situation. We are expected to hear more on this response from the sheriff's office tomorrow. Reporting live tonight from Cincinnati Police District 1, Daisy Kershaw, WLWT News.
All right, and so we'll stop it right there. Deuteronomy 7:3 says, don't intermarry with them. Don't give your daughters to their sons, or don't take their daughters for your sons, because they will turn your heart away from me to follow other gods. And I think about that scripture and the naivete of the young lady. Once again, I think she was only 22, something of that nature. And if you hear her doing those 911 calls, almost laughing, not realizing that that guy was serious. She said that, he sent her a note and said that this is for after I'm dead. Like, she's laughing about it, thinking that this guy can't be serious, right? And she said, well, I was able to help him. He said some things like that before, and I was able to help them. Once again, so naive to think that this guy isn't crazy. This guy isn't obsessed. And then she said he had also sent her a picture of a gun. And she said, I was able to talk to her and I was able to talk him down. And, talked about getting professional help. Once again, the love in her heart, the seemingly goodness. And, some people, as I mentioned, think that, white people are just the best thing smoking. I'm hearing, a lot of people from, and they were from, I think, Ethiopia or whatever. And, not trying to speak ill of the young lady, but I guess she didn't have any realization of, the history of, white people in America when they can't get what they want. And she will say, did the operator ask, well, did he get rid of it? Well, no, because we had a disagreement about that too. Like, she's steady trying to reason with this man, and then she said, well, okay, well, yeah, she called back. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. He said, if he hears a siren, he's going to go ahead and, put one in his meatloaf. And so I'm thinking they had all the signs. Well, she had all the signs. Once again, she was young. Maybe once she's seen the good in everybody. I've always talked about the forgiving nature and the loving nature of Black people, where, we just want to see the good in everybody. And the fact that police did not take these things serious, they may be held accountable too. Said they turned it over to Cincinnati police, but because he stayed in Anderson Township, then they handed it over to Hamilton County. But this definitely should have been something that was addressed from the get-go. And, evidently, once again, she had dated him. You're going to hear this last video where the relatives are saying that, after the second date, that is when she started calling the police and, giving them warning signs of this. And, the fact that this would happen, he would go and take her life, her sister's life, and another person's life. That's more than just a romantic interest. I don't know, like I don't know how bad that he wanted to stick his Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory, but I don't see that him being rejected. And it actually doesn't even seem like she's rejecting him from those calls. She's trying to work with him. Now, I don't know, once again, the totality of the situation, but she doesn't seem like she's just cutting them off. So, once again, I don't know if they've already been involved or whatever, but, it doesn't seem that, she was being anyway towards him to cause him to do such a heinous thing and to do that to her sister and evidently her friend. Maybe, the friend was just a casualty of war, or he may have thought that, he was involved with her. But listen at the family tell this last little bit about that history and about the danger and the warning signs that she had let everybody know about. Once again, this is fair use for literary and commentary purposes only.
Young students shot and killed in a murder in Mount Washington. Cincinnati police confirming the shooter knew at least one of the victims, saying there was a romantic interest.
And tonight, WLWT News 5's Daisy Kershaw spoke with an expert about dating violence. Daisy's live now with more.
Mike, we recently learned from a family member of Faven and Aiden Adunia that Aiden reported the shooter, Samuel Ericson, to police about a month before he killed her sister, and their friend, Bemnit Duresi.
We learned it. He called 911 after second day that the police went to his family's house. We heard that his gun was locked into safe, but in 22 days this happened.
Nagash Adunia took his nieces in after their father killed their mother in Ethiopia in what he says was a domestic violence situation. On Tuesday, outside the Beacon Street apartment the girls called home, at the vigil for Faven, Aiden, and Bemnit Duresi, Nagash shared how painful it is to know they died the way they did.
Just keep rewinding. I'll do that until I get an answer.
Cincinnati police say the shooter, Samuel Ericson, had a romantic interest in one of the victims. Tonight, I sat down with Kristen Trimplin. Her organization, Women Helping Women, helps survivors of assault and violence.
This year, we are on pace to serve 10,000 survivors. We've never seen that before.
They're concerned with a trend in Southwest Ohio of the sexual, domestic, dating, and interpersonal violence reports they receive. Their data shows more than half of the victims say they've experienced serious physical harm.
Dating violence pops up after people have been broken up. Intimate partner violence pops up after people have broken up. In fact, that's when violence and stalking can increase. When anyone raises their hand and describes what they're going through, and if they feel there's a pattern and it's traumatic, then it's really important to listen, believe, and then connect them to help if that's what they want.
We've reached out to Cincinnati police asking for any reports made by the victims leading up to that deadly shooting. The investigation remains ongoing. Now, if you or anyone you know is experiencing violence, we've got more information on resources and the 24-hour help available. That's on our website. Reporting live tonight from Cincinnati.
Okay, and so there you see very vividly in that segment that Cincinnati police basically ignored these violent threats after that lady made the call saying, look, he sent me a picture of a gun. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. The police went to the guy's family's house and they told, oh, yeah, the guns is locked in the safe. And that was that. The threat on these young black people's life did not warrant them taking the gun out of the house and even arresting him or taking him in for psychic evaluation. Whatever could have like she literally said, this is what he said he was going to do. If he hears a siren, he's going to knock himself off. And the tragic part about it is, as you heard, that, the guys, the girls, their uncle took them in after their father killed their mother in a domestic dispute. And I think that is very ironic, but also tragic, because a lot of times when children grow up in that environment, they accept that as normal. So maybe, the young lady who was talking to this guy was trying to, I guess, defuse the situation that she had seen her parents go through time and time again. And unfortunately for her, it became the demise of, both her sister, and their friend. But there's a deeper issue, is once again the police ignoring the fact that this guy was making those threats. And he eventually, 22 days later, made good on those threats. And so I think Cincinnati, as they're saying, well, they, was there any reports filed? And they're doing all of the song and dance thing. They know they dropped the ball. That's why there's no investigation. And that's why these 911 calls are just now being released, because they know that this situation should not have happened. That man should have been long gone. And then they're trying to switch the narrative as well. Oh, well, dating violence and domestic violence, and we're serving. They switched the whole narrative from these girls and that violent criminal to 10,000 other violent relationships. No, let's focus on the violent nature of this criminal thug, with no acknowledgement from Trump, no acknowledgement from J.D. Vance, no acknowledgement from the governor. All of the people who were so concerned about the Cincinnati brawl with some drunk white people who started a fight got beat up. But nobody is concerned about these three lovely souls who were the epitome of what young people are supposed to be doing at that age. No one cares about their life being lost, but yet we still have this guy not even being, not even been vilified in his death, not even been scrutinized. They quickly shift the narrative to domestic violence and something else. So rest in peace to the young sister. But I hope this does serve as a warning once again, where, some people, as they call them, the white zaddies, some people think the white milk is creamier or whatever, however you want to say it. But, we've been seeing these things way too often, and the violent nature, the history of violence stemming from, the white race. I just got to be honest, man. The history of violence from the white race should, make you very cautious because, once again, when things hit the fan, they lose their minds. And evidently this guy lost his mind when he couldn't, get some Cocoa Puffs, whatever the case may be. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, peace and blessings. Scripture says all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.